Dawn breaks over a violent sea, wind howling, surf hammering black reefs. A hull, split and groaning, is hurled against the breakers. In the chaos are whispers that refuse to sink. Crates of silver, coins and curios, artifacts bound for distant ports, gone. Lost to weather, to water, or to human hands. This is the opening riddle of Australia's rugged coast, a shipwreck's treasure that vanished without a trace. Time and place? Australia's iron-bound shores, where sail-age trade routes threaded past reefs, shoals, and sudden squalls. Ships ran close, and sometimes too close. The charts warned in ink and compass rose, ledges, tide rips, lee shores. Lighthouse logs note gales and poor visibility. Harbor masters recorded wreckage washing in. The exact names matter less here than the pattern. Hazard layered upon hazard along a lonely, exposed reach of coast. Beneath the surface, it's another world. Surge charging through kelp forests, sand whipped off reef ledges, visibility collapsing to near zero. A cargo lost here could vanish in minutes. Nature left its own notices, spars and timbers on the tide line, coin-shaped glints mistaken for shells, rumors that followed every storm. Even seasoned coastal hands treated these beaches with caution and respect. In the colonial era, salvage notices appeared in newspapers. Auctions offered recovered goods by the crate. Yet not every ledger balanced. Some manifests hinted at precious cargo that never reached the block. So the question stands, did a wreck's treasure lie here, then slip away? Was it quietly recovered, stolen under cover of weather, scattered by sea and time, or simply never on board at all? Myths thrive where records fray. We'll weigh legends against logs, rumors against receipts, and tide tables against tall tales, staying with what evidence can support. Here, fast rip lines and cross seas could tear open holds and sweep cargo into deep channels within moments. Picture the break. Timbers wrench, hatches fail, and a storm lifts crates like drift. Heavy pieces plunge, silver bars, ballast, iron, while lighter goods scatter, a breadcrumb trail across reef and sand. Lighthouse keepers once logged nights of sleet and spray. Pilots marked shoals where seas boiled. Accounts describe flotsam driven seaward, then nothing, just white water closing over black rock. Onshore, disbelief turned to method. Beaches searched, notes compared, small finds tallied. Yet the supposed prize, the core of the legend, remained elusive. The first alarms in such cases traveled by signal, then by telegraph. Crews launched through surf when they could. Wreckers waited for a weather window. Thus began searches that could last days or decades. From cliff lookouts and signal stations, eyes swept the breakers for wreckage trails, cargo slicks, and the telltale line of a ripped-out keel. Later generations returned with new tools: divers, magnetometers, side-scan sonar, mapping seabeds once felt by hand. Each pass refined the picture, but the sea yielded few certainties. The ocean keeps its terms. Surge, kelp, and jagged reef make careful work hazardous, and sometimes impossible. Mysteries persist where evidence is scarce and currents run strong. On the chart, a faded route traces the coast, ending on an X that time has tried to erase. In the next chapter, we follow the search. Who looked, with what tools, and what the sea gave back. Over the decades that followed, the search for answers never truly stopped. From ad hoc beachcombers and local lore to organized expeditions with charts, weather synoptics, and tasking boards, teams kept returning to this hostile coast, planning meticulously, then waiting for the rare weather windows to open. Volunteers and professionals alike compared notes, mapped probable drift paths, and logged targets, turning hunches into grid plans and grid plans into action. It became procedural work: assemble, brief, deploy, then adapt to the sea's terms. The earliest phases were informal, locals walked the intertidal zone after storms, eyes down for anything unusual. Old salvage notices and newspaper clippings, faded type and bold headlines, hinted at finds, rumors, and near misses that entered coastal folklore. Modern teams brought instruments. Side-scan sonar swept the near shore, magnetometer passes looked for ferrous anomalies. Metal detectors traced narrow windows across reef platforms and sand tongues at low tide. Each hit logged, each false positive crossed off. Underwater, divers worked methodically. Shot lines marked rectangles. Teams advanced by feel and compass, sharing hand signals and surge, then rotated out to keep the grid intact and the notes clean. Each descent added to the ledger: depth, visibility, current set, substrate, and whether the target justified a return. From above, low helicopter sweeps and drone passes traced reef edges and channels, aiming cameras at pale streaks and shadowed cuts where debris might settle between storms. Winch crews and observers logged bearings and times, tying aerial notes back to sea-level grids for the next tide. On rougher days, ROVs and drop cameras took the risk, paying out cable into surge to probe ledges divers could not safely hold. Back on deck, sonar and magnetometer returns told their quiet story: blips, shadows, and streaks. Operators adjusted gain, rescanned and compared traces, separating geology from genuine metal. The environment fought every step. Heavy swell and strong rips shoved teams off lines. Kelp forests tangled fins and tethers. Visibility collapsed to arm's length in a breath of sand. In those brown-green hazes, progress was tactile. Gloves slid over rock shelves and coarse sand, inching along ropes as surge pulsed. Advance, hold, retreat, until the box was complete or the tide forced a reset. Notes were clipped to wet logs and transferred to clean copies topside, building a patient archive of where the sea allows work and where it does not. Logistics set the tempo: permits, heritage briefings, and insurance. Crews on standby for narrow weather windows. Funding stretched across seasons, with ethics and legal protections guiding what could be touched and what must be left in situ. When the window opened, teams moved fast: fuel, air, med checks, then out through building chop before the next front closed the door. Results were usually modest but instructive. Isolated, wave-worn pieces tagged and bagged, coins, sheathing copper, a lead weight, each logged with GPS, depth, and context for later review rather than rushed conclusions. Currents sort the seabed. Heavy objects wedge in pockets. Lighter fragments raft away in foam and weed. Storm cycles then shuffle everything again, scattering leads and breaking patterns just as they seem to form. The ledger grows, but intact troves remain elusive. Aerials made the geometry plain, neat search boxes sketched over restless water, edges drifting with tide and swell. Each completed square reduced uncertainty, if not doubt. Night operations were careful and short. Deck lights swung, swell slapped hulls, crews timed lifts between sets, logging what the sea allowed and standing down before fatigue made the calls for them. Remote tools filled more gaps, towfish humming on long cables, drop cameras blinking in surge, frames of ledges and sand waves stitched into mosaics for later analysis. Throughout, maritime heritage remained the boundary. Where protection applied, sites were recorded, not disturbed. Reports went to authorities, and community histories were treated as leads, not proof. After years of returns, rescans, and careful notes, the picture is disciplined but incomplete. Scattered finds, persuasive hints, and strong hypotheses, yet no confirmed intact treasure. The grids fade, the surf continues. For now, the sea keeps the rest. Stormy seas breed stormy stories. Today, we separate myth from evidence at Cheviot Beach, sifting rumor, record, and the restless ocean itself. Popular legends flourished, hidden coves and secret recoveries, Pirates or smugglers whisking someone away. Maps misread, tracks erased, files vanished. Compelling. But are they true? The record says otherwise. Verified sites, logged searches, and sworn statements align with a hazardous swim and a failed rescue, while the secret papers routinely evaporate under scrutiny. Oceanography 101. Storm energy carves ripped channels between sandbars. Water rushes seaward, drags swimmers off their feet, then rebounds as backwash. What isn't swept away can be buried, fast. Along Bass Strait, shifting bathymetry and mobile sands migrate with each swell set. Items disperse, sink, re-emerge, and rebury, an underwater conveyor belt with no guarantees. Evidence review. Verified sites are those logged, mapped, and cross-checked. Rumored sites lack coordinates, artifacts, or corroboration. Powerful claims but no chain of proof. Claim: hidden cove extraction or shark ambush. Evidence: no blood, no covert craft logged, no physical traces recovered. In heavy surf, absence of artifacts is common, not conspiratorial. Claim: a secret recovery hushed up. Evidence: press swarms, public searches, and no verifiable log of any clandestine retrieval. Sensational headlines fade, sober notes endure. Espionage fantasies, submarines defections, captured imaginations. Decades of inquiry found zero credible proof. Rumor dissolves under light. The record remains. Myth thrives where bodies don't return. Yet official investigations, contemporary and modern, reach the same conclusion. Hazardous surf, deadly rips, and no sign of foul play. Health and safety matter too. The site is hazardous. Protected zones and heritage laws apply. Penalties are steep because careless digging destroys context that science needs. Careful archaeology documents, conserves, and shares. Chain of custody, catalogs, and transparent reporting turn finds into knowledge, not trophies or rumors. And the ocean? It erases and reveals on its own clock. Heavy swell, kelp, reefs, and ripping tides can scatter or bury remains and effects beyond recovery. The most credible outcome, a tragic surf accident. Effects likely dispersed, occasionally reported or sealed beneath shifting sand. Some answers surfaced, many never will. We close with balance. Respect the loss, heed the evidence, and learn from the sea. Ahead, legacy, safeguards, and what changed next. First, the official record stands. In 2005, the Victorian State Coroner concluded Harold Holt died by accidental drowning at Cheviot Beach. No credible evidence supports conspiracy or foul play. What we face is hazardous surf, powerful rips, and cold, surging water. On that coast, conditions can turn deadly within seconds. So why was so little ever recovered? Tearing currents, kelp and reefs can trap, conceal, and break up remains or objects. Debris disperses fast, drawn seaward and along shore. Within hours, anything small can vanish into Bass Strait. Today, memorials and place names keep the memory alive, quiet markers on a powerful coast. Heritage protections apply. Report finds responsibly. Museums and local histories steward the story. Commemoration is respectful. It remembers a leader, a family's loss, and a nation's grief. Modern best practice favors non-intrusive surveys, mapping, photography, and documentation first. Partnerships matter. Lifesavers, researchers, museums, and traditional owners working together. Learn the signs, respect closures, and share discoveries through proper channels. Curiosity with care. The sea keeps its secrets, and careful study continues. If you want more respectful mysteries from Australia's shores, join us for the next chapter.